Are some of MLB's best pitchers on the move? Are Major League Baseball insiders watching closers for show ideas? Plus, the Mets Mount Rushmore and a fun round of buy or sell. All that and more on this episode of Closers. What is going on, everybody? It's time for Closers. And without further ado, let me bring in the greatest co-host in the history of the business, Mr. David Ardsma, also known as Mr. 69. TA, what's going on, pal?
James Kuladianos, I am doing great. Just got done with a workout. Got like proteins all over my mouth. I'm doing good. Enjoying myself here. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. I don't have protein all over my mouth, thank God. But I'm doing better because the Mets are finally off their little skid that they had some trouble with, and they actually scored some runs. What are you showing me?
No, I'm just moving around. I don't know.
Just stretching like a monkey?
No, I'm just I don't know. That's
all
weird.
Right. Okay, so as I said in the beginning of the show, I have a sneaking suspicion that some of baseball's best MLB insiders are watching closers and coming up with ideas. And in this case, I'm talking about Mr. Jeff Passan, who had the audacity to say something that I said last year. But
shocker, Jeff Passan.
Yeah, exactly. So, Jeff Passan, hi, because I know you're probably watching. Since last year, we discussed whether or not the Pittsburgh Pirates would be wise in trading Paul Skenes, and now all of a sudden it's a big story. What are your thoughts?
100%. He's watching this show and stealing your ideas and stealing our discussion points and now trying to cover them up as their own. We went back through the data and we saw his IP address. So,
okay, no, none of this is true, of course.
No, but you never know. You never know what might have prompted it. You know, he could have saw it, could have actually watched it. Who knows? But the idea is, James, you had an incredible idea that they should trade him or that they should just start having these conversations. And we started talking about whether they should start having these conversations. And it's the reality of the situation when you have one of the best young pitching talents in Major League Baseball history, and he's just such a dominant force and going out there last year and just killing everything with Rookie of the Year. This year he was following it up and just 244, 62 innings pitch. He's striking out 62, which is incredible, which is exactly what you want to be doing. And he's been as dominant as ever, and he's getting better. And so these are the conversations when you start having that and your team sucks and you fired your head coach and they have so many needs.
Yeah.
These are the type of things that you do. Now, I think it's early to be having these discussions unless you just get an absolute haul. But you have to start having these discussions. And again, who knows if the Pirates are even having these discussions with anybody, and the amount that it would even take to get them would be just insane.
Listen, you saw the haul that the San Diego Padres got or gave up when they acquired Juan Soto a couple of years ago. And this is a guy with even more service time.
Yes. I believe he's got 5 right now, including this year, 5 years of service time with a team.
Yeah, left. Yeah. So you're looking with a guy with a lot more service time. You're looking at a guy who, no matter what, is not going to get $700 million because you just don't give pitchers that kind of money long term. You're not going to sign him to 10 years, $70 million per. So if you actually put him on the market, you're going to get a crazy haul for Paul Skenes. And as we've seen, the Pittsburgh Pirates, they're not spending any money. In fact, they have spent the least of the revenue sharing. I think they're one of the most profitable teams in all of baseball because all the money that they get from profit sharing, from revenue sharing and all of that, they don't spend it. They just put it in Nutting's pocket. So if you are the Pittsburgh Pirates and you have this asset, and as we've seen, and as we've discussed many times, the way to build a team is through young hitting, not through young pitching. You get pitching later on when you actually need it, sort of like the Yankees did in getting Max Fried. It's a no-brainer for you to trade this guy now. And can you imagine if he goes into the World Baseball Classic next year, gets hurt, and all of a sudden they get nothing for him?
And currently, right now, they're 27th in total payroll. They're 22nd in the active 26-man roster payroll. Yes, the haul would just be insane. And it's something the Pirates have to start having conversations about. Jared Jones this week had Tommy John surgery, so he's going to be out for a full year. He's Paul Skenes-esque, like same kind of stuff, maybe not as dominant as Paul Skenes. And so you have to have these conversations. Is this the reality of where you are as a team and as a franchise? You're not going to be spending a whole ton of money. I think they should be spending a lot more than what they have been spending, because the people in Pittsburgh, we know, will back winners. You get a team, you get some energy, and you get this thing rolling. They will back them. You got O'Neal Cruz, you have Brian Reynolds for years to come, and then you have some of these pitchers, and obviously Jared Jones, like we talked about, Mitch Keller, Bailey Falter, and Andrew Haney. Like, you've got some guys there that can pitch and can do stuff. You have some pieces there. They just need about 4 or 5 other pieces, and a Paul Skenes is the type of player that does that. Maybe you take him, maybe take a Paul Skenes, and you take a guy like Andrew Haney, who's been pitching really well right now, and you package them up into multiple teams, so you're not just like getting them all from one team, all their prospects. You get a couple different teams with their prospects. Maybe you move a Kutch because he's been playing okay. Maybe you do something else and you move a couple pieces to get a bunch.
Okay,
like
so
IKF would be a good guy to move somewhere, right? He's 7 years. Like, he's not going to give you a whole lot of value. The guy's hitting 283. Move him and get value from multiple places, even though IKF's slugging is very low.
So first and foremost, I don't think there's any chance in hell that they're going to move Kutch. I think one of the deals that they made with Kutch is, listen, you come over here, you're going to take less money.
Final, like,
yeah, this is
sunset.
Yeah, we want you here.
I think if they get to a point and we're nearing the All-Star break, and this team is where it at, and a team who's in the running says, "Hey, we want it," I don't think there's a doubt. Kutch in a heartbeat will leave, and it's not about
hold on a second.
Love for Pittsburgh. It's more about the idea, like, you did what you're supposed to be here. You were here for the first half. You nailed it. Great job, and he knows that. Now go get a ring. And
let me ask you one question.
That's the proper way to send off your superstar.
Let me ask you one question, though. If you're the Pittsburgh Pirates and you're interested in trading a guy like Kutch, do you talk to him first? Because does he deserve that respect?
Oh, that 1,000%. And okay. But that's the conversation you have is Kutch. Obviously, we brought you in, and you wanted to be here, and you've nailed it. You solid veteran, the presence. Fans come out here for you. We will keep you for the rest of the year. No even if, ands, or buts. But we have an idea here. There are teams out here that are interested in you, and your name has been we've been hearing it. We've told them, hey, we need to talk to Kutch because this is something that we deserve that respect. You've done everything possible. You've been the veteran. You're a good guy. Everybody here loves you. We want you. But you have a chance to go win a World Series title, and it's not going to be with us. Do you want that opportunity? And you leave it up to him. You say, hey, if you don't, it's not going to be. They're not going to get a whole lot for him.
No, they're not.
He's a bench guy. He's a role player. He's a guy that come in and be a veteran. He might play a huge integral part of winning a World Series title. You say, we want you, the best for you. We want you to win a World Series, man. Or if you don't, and if you're cool, we want to be here. We won't, no sweat off our bat. We would love you, and we're going to market the crap out of you, and you're the face. But go for it.
Going full circle, though, going back to Skenes now, they don't have to do that with Paul Skenes. He hasn't earned that kind of respect. So you could trade him anywhere you want. And, we mentioned the trade between the Padres and the Nationals. What's a better team right now? Having Paul Skenes or having, let's say, Dylan Cruz and Mackenzie Gore and James Wood? Let's call it what it is.
Well, Paul Skenes hasn't earned the respect to have that type of conversation.
Right.
But Paul Skenes is definitely if you want to build a culture and build an organization that really puts the players first, you have a realistic conversation with them about conversations that people have been trying to have. If people are calling, you have that conversation. Now, you do not, under any means, let Paul Skenes make that decision for you or push his opinion in one way or the other. But you do owe him, sometimes that conversation goes a million miles. And you just say, hey, here's the reality of it. And this is what we're hearing. We're not necessarily entering, playing with any of these conversations. No one's given us the value that you would ever be worth. But just so you know, people are calling. This isn't just like the closers TV show, the closers show talking about it. This is real teams and real conversations that teams are starting to have. No one's come even remotely close to your value. You keep doing your thing. But just so you know, this is happening. And if something happens, it's going to have to be game changing because we value you. And you don't, nobody, and we've talked about this, nobody is untouchable. There is not a player in Major League history that is untouchable for the right value. It just, none. It's just teams, for some players, can't come up with the value for them. That's the only difference. A Shohei Ohtani, the most valuable player in Major League Baseball history, probably behind Babe Ruth, probably number 2 behind Babe Ruth, he is tradable 100%.
See, I wasn't thinking about Shohei.
Nobody has ever, there's no team that has the value enough to trade for him. You're telling me if they say, hey, we're going to give you Aaron Judge, and right now we're going to give you Aaron Judge and the rest of our entire pitching staff, the Dodgers go, yes.
Well, it's interesting because
that's the reality. Like, well, you know what? We'll give you all 20 of our prospects in the minor leagues and Aaron Judge, and some team goes, yes, because that's the reality. Like, but no one's really going to do that.
Right.
So, and by the way, we're going to give you $40 million a year. Yes. But no team does that. But that's the value it would take. That is the Ricky Williams effect, where you have to trade an entire draft for one player. So no, everybody has a value. It's just a lot of times nobody will go to that point to give you the value. Hey, Dodgers, we'll sell you our entire minor league system, and we'll sell you our best 2 players and our top 5 prospects. The Dodgers would have a really hard time turning that down because it's just money. And it's dollars and cents, and you will find the players because you have the money to get the next player. So it makes sense.
I just thought about the perfect trade between the Yankees and Dodgers where it's a win-win for both. You ready? Shohei Ohtani for Aaron Judge and Max Fried.
That's what I'm talking about. Like,
yeah, you could do that trade.
We can immediately go, no, Ohtani's not touchable. Oh, okay. All right. Well, here's the trade. We're going to give you, we're going to do a 3-team trade. We're going to give you Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, Max Fried. Yeah. Okay.
All right. But we've been talking about the possibility of Skenes getting traded. So I just wanted to go real quick around the league and take a look at some of the teams that could possibly be involved, that have the money and the prospects to do it and have World Series aspirations, because obviously you're not going to make this unless you are a contending team and you think that this is the move that's going to win. So let's take a look. Yankees obviously will be on board. They have the money. They certainly have the need. I don't know if they have the prospects, but
they don't have prospects.
No, they don't have the prospects, but you could make a deal where you're giving up Dominguez, Volpe, a couple of minor leaguers that might get it done.
Nope.
All right. The New York Mets would obviously be interested. They have the prospects to do it. I know that for a fact.
They don't have enough prospects. They don't have 4 of them. They don't have 4 top 20 dudes. Like when we talk about the Padres trade with the Nationals, like those are 4 top 50 picks, 4 top 50 prospects. Mets don't have that.
But they do have enough young guys where you can make it work. Where if you do something like Jet Williams, one of their young pitchers, Mark Vientos, and a Brett Beatty, you're starting to talk there.
We're starting to have that conversation, yes, because that does change. That changes the Pirates look. It definitely changes.
Yeah. Let's just call it like it is. It's if he gets traded, the
Red Sox would be a real conversation.
Who's that?
The Red Sox.
The Red Sox would be a good conversation.
That's the conversation to have when you're talking about like Roman Anthony, and you start going down this list. Like Mayer, is it Meyer?
Marcelo Meyer. Yep.
Meyer, like again, like that's a conversation you start like going like, oh, like now the Pirates are listening.
And finally, the team that he would probably end up with, the Dodgers. They got the money, they got the prospects, and they have a need because their rotation is dead. They're just
Well, not finally. I would say the Orioles.
The Orioles, but they're not going to make that move.
But they should. That's the move they should make, and that's the move. Like that's the move, and that's the one they got to wake up and go, yes. That's the one. This guy's no longer a prospect. He's the dude. Get rid of some of your prospects. Like you don't even have a place to play them.
Yeah. Hey, Jackson Holliday, Kobe Mayo, Grayson Rodriguez, and more. You're going to Pittsburgh.
What's great too is the number 2 prospect in all baseball is a right-handed pitcher with the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah.
Like you got the dudes. You just need something. So I don't want to trade him if I'm the Pirates, but when I'm looking at this, I'm going, I have this young pitching staff that is just insane in youth and stuff. And I've already lost one of them, the Tommy John. He won't be back until next year at the beginning of the year. I need to revamp this entire offense. And we've known this for 3 years now. And that's the one Ryan Reynolds, when he signed that contract, we're like, awesome. This is the change. They're going to start signing these guys and actually like bringing in quality guys. And they just haven't done crap. And I love Ben Cherington. I am a Ben Cherington huge fan. I played for him when I was with the Red Sox. I worked for him with the Blue Jays. I loved when he went over there. And then he's just getting his hands cuffed by that owner. And it just, he can't do anything, but he wants to do stuff.
Well, you got Ben Cherington's phone number. Give him a call and tell him what to do.
I'm sure he'd love to hear that call.
He'd be like, "Hey, Ben, it's David Arzo." Who? No. I'm sorry.
He won't be like that. He'll be like, "Hey, what's up? Hey, you should." He'll say hi. We'll have a great conversation. Then when the moment I go, "Hey, I've got an idea. You should try," and then just to hang up.
So here's my next question. When you look at Paul Skenes, are you thinking he's the best pitcher in baseball right now?
No.
Who is the best pitcher in baseball right now, in your opinion?
The dude, Tariq Skubal, and then the dude who I predicted to be the AL Cy Young champion, Jacob DeGrom.
Jacob DeGrom.
How about that pick out of left field, pulling that out of my butt?
And from what I've been told, you pull a lot of things out of your butt. However, Jacob DeGrom, man, we talked about him for so long as being the best pitcher in baseball. And the way he's pitching right now, he is the best pitcher in baseball again. He is dominant. Last night, he went out, he's seven innings pitched against the Yankees, 9 strikeouts, 1 walk, 2 earned runs. Of course, he didn't win because, God forbid that Jacob DeGrom ever gets a win. But yeah, my question now is Jacob DeGrom going to be there long term? If you have the opportunity right now knowing that there's a lot of teams that are looking for a starting pitcher, his salary isn't ridiculously crazy. Yes, he still has 3 more years on that deal. And I believe last year is a club option because he didn't pitch all of last year. Are you looking to trade him? Are you still thinking that the Texas Rangers are good enough to possibly win a World Series? What are your thoughts on Jacob DeGrom's future?
The Texas Rangers are going to win the AL West.
Mm-hmm.
I am still with it. They are 500 ball club right now as we see it. They are 2 games out of the wild card. They have 3 teams in the Central ahead of them, and then the Astros are half a game. They've got one less loss right now. A couple of those teams from the Central are going to fall off. It just happens because the White Sox are a little bit better than last year, so they're going to end up playing each other, and they're going to get some losses in there. I know it won't be the same as it has been in the past, but this Rangers team, the thing is, man for man versus the Guardians and the Royals and Twins are better than all of them. And so they're going to end up jumping them. And then the Mariners, I like it. They're a great team, and I'm not dishing the Mariners. Have we yet to see them sustain something? We've
Right.
seen them hot. Have we seen them sustain something? The thing is, the Rangers sitting here at 500. They're -3 run differential. The Mariners are only plus 27. That's compared to other leaders and teams that have the same kind of record as them. The Tigers and the Yankees. The Yankees are plus 94. The Tigers are plus 85. They're
Yeah.
plus 27. And I understand that Seattle's the wild card with like it's a 3-2 ball game every day. That run differential is a little different than some other ballparks than like Yankee Stadium where it's like 12-2. But this Rangers team is really good. And right now, with his age, injury history, everything behind it, he's 36. He's been consistently injured until this year. I am riding him out until I can't. I've got this year and I've got next year. Oh, no, I got until 29, right?
Yeah, let's bring up his contract over
Yes.
here. Good. So we see that this year he's making 40 million, next year he's making 38 million, and then the following year he's making 37 million.
Mhm.
All reasonable contracts for a guy that good. And then there's a club option in 2028. I'm not saying that
For
the
only
Rangers
20,
aren't a
by
good
the way.
team. I'm sorry?
Club option for only 20 million.
Yeah, for 20 million, correct. I'm not saying that the Rangers aren't a good team. They are a very good team. And if you put a gun to my head right now, I would say that they probably will win that division. But knowing Jacob DeGrom's injury history and what you've already dealt with right now, and he's showing to be Jacob DeGrom again, you could probably get a haul for him right now. I'm wondering if you do that.
The problem is what message does that tell your team? What message does that tell your organization and your fan base? That basically says we're the Rays.
Mhm.
Screw that, man. You're not the Rays. You're trying to compete with like you're not even on the same level as the Mariners. You're above that.
Right.
You're on the Astros level. You're not New York, but right now you're above Boston. You're a Boston level a team. You're above everybody in the Central, and so you're on this. Just yes, you get the Mets, Philly, Dodgers, and Yankees up here, and then there's that very next little tier that's right below it when you're looking at like, all right, you the Braves, you've got the Red
Mariners,
Sox.
the Rangers.
No, but they're above the Mariners, but you're as far as spending.
Oh,
And
okay.
then you've got that, Giants, Diamondbacks, Cubs are going to be there next year. Once some of this money is right out there and the players they have. You're in the second tier of but you're on the upper echelon of the second tier. You won a World Series a couple of years ago. You have a good, solid baseball team. If you moved Jacob DeGrom, I understand from my prospect standpoint, you're going to get stuff for him, but still, where are you going to move him with that type of contract? There's only a select certain teams. And so they're taking on 40 a year. They're not going to send you a whole ton back unless you eat the contract. Then if you're eating the contract, screw it, keep the player.
Right.
But you're trying to win a World Series now, not in 4 years if you're the Rangers. You already have the player. Now I get to sit back and go, cool, I've got the dude who's sitting there, my number one. I've got my number two. I've got my number three. I've got a great starting pitching staff. I've got a young prospect in Jack Leiter coming up who's been pitching much better this year. But I got my ace as a 2-3, my number 2 as a 1-6, my number 3 as a 1-4. My young rookie has a 4-2. He's getting better. And then my Patrick Corbin has a 3-6. I've got a veteran pitching staff that is dominating. I'm holding on to this, and I'm letting all my young prospects play and get better and sit in the minors and develop. My problem is my offense.
Right.
I need something like Marcus Semien is hitting crap. Like Jock Peterson is lucky if he finds water when he jumps into the ocean. And so we're trying to figure out where in this offense, like Adolis Garcia hasn't done anything.
Okay, I'm gonna throw this out at you, and it will never happen because it's in the division. But if you're the Texas Rangers and Seattle calls you and says, "Hey, guess what? J-Rod and Brian Wu."
Oh, but come on, not even thinking about that.
But you're giving us, but you're taking on a shit ton of his contract, Jacob DeGrom's contract.
The only thing that stops me in any single way possible is one. Sam Haggerty has been playing really well. I understand he's not like the future, but again, he's still a young guy, like a young guy from a season perspective. He only got 4 years. He's 31, but he's hitting 300.
Right.
Okay, cool. Like, I'll take on the only thing is J-Rod's contract's no joke either. That thing's going to eventually start adding up. And so I'm taking on contract, eating contract, but I'm taking on another pitcher in Wu that would go down and dominate. I would consider that because that changes the look on that lineup. It's just, when is J-Rod going to actually become what everybody thinks J-Rod is outside of his rookie year? Like, he's been okay.
But you said it yourself. He's playing in that god-awful stadium. His splits on the road are far better. Yes. And then he's getting it. I don't care who you are. If you are at home half the time and you're not hitting over there, you're going to get into a funk eventually because you're going to try to make adjustments to play better at home. I think that if you move J-Rod out of there, he would just explode. My opinion.
I think so too. And I think it would actually probably be good for him to not be the face of a team.
Yep.
I think him coming up and having so much success that rookie year, it put a lot of pressure on him. He signs a contract. It's been a detriment to him and the Mariners, because now you're constantly looking at this young player and saying, cool, you're going to be the guy. And if you look, so this year, he's hitting 248 on the road, 213 at home. 6 home runs on the road, 3 home runs at home. He's got roughly almost the same amount of at-bats on both, same amount of games. And OPS, he's hitting 767 on the road and 678 at home. So 100 points higher on the road. You put him in Texas, you put him in some of those other ballparks, those numbers are going to be pretty dang good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would take the chance on that without a doubt. They would never do it in the division
right,
thing. You want to see J-Rod for the rest of his life playing against you. But a player like that would be interested. It would just have to take a player like that for them to ever move a Jacob DeGrom, who right now, by the way, get out there and bet, because outside of Tariq Skubal, he's a 1,300 right now. He's a plus 1,300 on Cy Young odds. Evaldi's right there at plus 1,100. He's plus 1,000. I mean, Crochet, Hunter Brown, Max Fried are ahead of him. And then obviously Tariq Skubal, who's probably going to win it unless something happens. But Jacob DeGrom is going to be
right now.
Jacob DeGrom is going to be a tight like race. If the Rangers start like turning it on, it's going to be him and Tariq Skubal and top 1 2.
I could use $1,300. I can deal with that. That's a pretty damn good bet. Yeah. So I think we've both established that Jacob DeGrom right now is the best pitcher in baseball. And if he was smart, he could have been even better by going to top velocity. With Mr. David Hardsma.
Jacob DeGrom would have been a tough one to get better, but we would have found a way. I mean, arguably the best. If you had one game to win and everybody you ever got to pick was healthy, Jacob DeGrom would be on a short list.
Be very short. Best pitcher I've ever seen.
Pedro. Maybe if you get back to like a Bob Gibson.
Dwight Gooden in his first year in baseball.
Yes, but Dwight Gooden, though, I don't know, like, you get that like game 7 of the World Series, Dwight Gooden. I don't know if that's the same, like, he just hadn't been weathered enough to like know how to just do it.
Yeah, but
like Greg Maddux said for like an 8-year run, or like Randy Johnson. So Roger Clemens, I don't care. Just give me the rocket. Anyways, I could have made any of them better. Top Velocity Pro. Hit me up anywhere, topvelocitypro.com, Top Velocity Pro, any social, or just the DA53, any social. I will definitely make you the best athlete you could possibly be. We could use Jacob DeGrom as an example of how to throw, and in some ways how not to throw. Don't be 6'7", lanky, and have joints that are brittle. But no, we'll make you the very best athlete, absolutely possible, best thrower. Hit me up and let's just have a conversation.
Nice. David, you in the mood to have a little fun?
No
fun?
I'm no fun zone. Yes, I'm always up for it.
All right. Let's play a little buy or sell here. I got 5 players here.
And I have,
I'm
by
gonna-
the way, I have no idea what this is. So this
Yeah.
is for me interesting.
So I got 5 players.
No.
I got their numbers. I want you to guess who the player is, and then I want you to tell me if you're buying or selling their current stats for the rest of the year.
Okay.
Let's go to number 1. Number 1 has 29 games played, and in those 29 games, a 179 average, a 727 OPS, a minus .2 WAR with 9 home runs. Can you guess who this might be?
That is not good by any means. Bats minus -02. Is this Devers? No.
Nope. I'll give you a hint. AL West.
An AL West. Is that Mike Trout?
That is Mike Trout.
Oh.
I mean, how the mighty have fallen. So I ask you now, are you buying this as his numbers to the rest of the year, or are you selling?
If he's healthy, they will improve, but not by a whole lot. It's sorry, Mike. This one hurts.
All right. So
where are you at on that?
I'm selling. I think if he comes back, I think he's not going to hit 179. He's too good of a hitter to hit 179. He's too good to be a minus WAR player. I mean, hell, he has the record for highest WAR in a season, doesn't he? Something or top 5.
It would make sense.
Yeah.
I mean, Ohtani, I would say, when you added his pitching and his hitting.
Yeah,
probably.
maybe. But bottom line is he's not a minus .2 WAR guy, so I'm selling. All right, who do we got next? Let's see. The next player, 45 games played, 236 average, 5 home runs with a 682 OPS minus .2 WAR. And he's on the other coast.
So I was going to say those numbers probably are not too far off from Soto, but the on-base percentage is too low.
Mm-hmm.
So Soto's still been getting on base. The right team?
Yeah.
That's not Lindor.
Nope. This is Mark Vientos, who everybody thought was going to be the replacement for Pete Alonso, and he's not you.
Not me. I was very argumentative on X about this with a lot of people who told me, do not sign Pete Alonso. We got Vientos. Said, you got a rookie. Pump the brakes.
And by the way, one of your best friends is Mr. Met over here, and you didn't hear me talking him up too much, did you?
Don't get me wrong. Vientos had a great year. Vientos had a wonderful year, a perfect year. But I don't sit back and go, God, what if I didn't sign the number 1 home run leader or number 2 home run leader behind Judge since he came into the league?
Yeah.
Because I got a rookie who had a good year. That's just stupid, especially once I've signed Soto. Now you see why they signed him, and it actually makes Soto's whatever he's going through look better than what it does, because if he didn't have Alonso, this team would be struggling.
Oh, they'd be 5 games under 500.
Yes, they would be struggling. To me, I'm buying it only because it's his second year. We don't know. I do think the numbers will get a little better, especially when you look at like on-base percentage. Like a 300 on-base percentage is just brutal. A 382 slugging is low too. So to me, I'm buying it, but I think they will improve a little bit in those areas. Average is going to be there. He's going to end up with 15. He's going to end up with 20 home runs. He's going to get a little bit better in some of these things. But you're going to look at a sophomore slump. Happens. This is baseball. Pitchers learn how to pitch the guys. Hitters it's their job to get better and figure out the pitchers. It's going to take a little bit. And yeah.
Boy, did the pitchers figure him out, because he cannot hit anything low and away right now. He is Leo Mazzoni's dream. There's a name we haven't mentioned.
Yes, that's scary. If they faced the Braves 18 times back in the day, he'd be over.
Yeah. All right, next guy on the list. He has 48 games played, 183 at bats, 3 home runs, hitting a measly 224, a 0 WAR with a 603 OPS. And I will give you a hint that this is in the same division as Mark Vientos.
He is basically the replacement player.
Mm-hmm.
That is tough. And I know it's going to be somebody with some. He's in that division. So Sandy Alcantara. No,
Well, if Sandy Alcantara has 3 home runs, then he's doing great.
right. He's amazing. Who is it?
Former Rookie of the Year, Michael Harris II.
Yeah, I'm buying it.
You're
These
buying
are
it?
tough
Yeah.
ones. These are tough ones. Because yes, I'm buying this because we've seen a roller coaster with him, and we haven't seen that dude. And again, rookie of the year, a lot of times gets you get rookie of the year because of hype and you're on a
Mhm.
good team and stuff like that versus real production.
Yep. I'm buying as well. I never thought he was a great player. I think he's a good player. I think he's a guy that you want on your team, but he is not the cornerstone. He's not that guy. Never will be, in my opinion.
Looking at this, like, okay, he had 297, incredible 514 slug, 853 OPS that very first year with 19 home runs, then 18, then 16, and now he's probably on pace for like 16, maybe even less. The big thing to me, what I'm seeing is his average has dropped big time. We
Yeah.
were 297, 293, 264, which isn't a huge drop that happens. Something there has switched. The strikeouts haven't really changed a lot. It's 36. It's probably up from what it has a little bit in the past, but like he was last year he had 23 walks, 21 his rookie year. In 500 bats, he had 25 walks. Like
Hmm.
he's not a guy that's going to get on base unless it's something, and it's not like he's out there. He's 18 home runs, 16 home runs. So to me, I never. When a guy's dropping 18 home runs, but he's only getting on base from a walk 25 times, I'm not. I mean, give me 40 and 25. I'll live with it. But I need somebody that can get on base more often and not just rely on the base hit. I need somebody to be able to work a walk every every couple games.
He reminds me a lot of former Marlins Rookie of the Year, Chris Coughlin.
Yeah, absolutely. I see it. And again, he's got talent. He's an athlete. He can move. He can do everything. Like, I'm just amazed the WAR is 0.
Yeah. All right. Up next, we have a guy who has 193 at bats, and in those
Ooh.
193 at bats, a 285 average, 12 home runs with a 3 WAR. And I will give you a hint. You have lived in this city, or at least
I have
played in this city.
I played in the city, so we were talking about the entire league.
All right.
Thank you for
In the
that.
Central,
This is it a Chicago Cub?
it is a Chicago Cub.
Love it. 12 home runs right now. Are we talking about center fielder?
We are talking about PCA, Pete Crow
Yes.
Armstrong.
100%. I'm
Little
buying.
big league.
I
Are
am
you buying or selling?
buy. I don't get me wrong. There might be a little drop at the end of the year on some of those numbers a little bit, but dude, everything I've ever heard from people that have played against him, not just this year, but in the past, they're like, this is the dude. PCA is the guy. He is it. Like, who was it? The best comment was it Pat Murphy who said that blue-haired guy freak in center field, or the blue-haired kid's a freak. When you hear things like that,
Yeah.
it's funny, like, yeah. But what he's basically saying is that dude's a freak.
Yeah.
So when you can separate yourself from big leaguers, that I am buying, and I'm buying the rest of the way out, like his career wise. You're going to look back and go, he was incredible. Who was it? Who traded him? Was it
Don't get me started on this.
Was it the Mets?
Yep. For Javi effing Baez. Oh, God.
Yeah. And Javi Baez had already shown the swing and miss big time.
Yeah. I don't remember who the GM was at the time. I don't think it was Brody Van Wagenen. I'm not 100% sure, but it might have been Sandy who made that deal.
Yeah. That's a tough one. Again, talking about a minor leaguer for a dude who had shown incredible pop and ability in the big leagues, and we're seeing him a resurgence this year. But PCA, I love it. I last year you were hearing him and you're going like, guys, everyone I talked to is like, watch out for PCA, watch out for this dude.
Now, listen, I can't really say too much because you know me. I would have done the same deal. I would have because I don't like prospects. I think for every 50 prospects, 2 of them are good. So I would have probably made the same
don't
deal.
know if I would have done the Baez. Just the swing and miss was going like,
I know.
It was going in a direction everybody saw. It was like the Albert Pujols with his bat, and everything was going in this direction. You're like, everybody's kind of seeing this. You want the guy, but you don't like the direction it's going. You're like this, that it turns around and that. Again, if Baez goes out there and hits 35 and is a 285 average, you're like, incredible deal.
Yeah.
But he didn't.
Yeah. Nope. All right. We got one last one. Do you like this game, David? Should we do this again?
I do like the game. It's hard to pick the player, but I do like the game.
All right, cool. And we got one last one. This is a guy in the American League. He has 49 games played, 173 at-bats, hitting 249, 12 bombs, 1.5 WAR with an 889 OPS.
What division or anything?
I said the Central, AL Central.
12 home runs?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a Tiger?
It is a Tiger.
Is it Spencer Torkelson? He doesn't have 12.
It is Spencer Torkelson. Yep. You're pretty good at this game. I like it. Are you buying or selling Torque as being this guy for the rest of the year?
I think he's actually going to get better.
Ooh, okay.
I think the average is gonna come up. I think he's even a better player than this. It's been there. It's been waiting. We've been watching and waiting for this. That's the thing about it. We've been waiting for this to happen. It's not like it just like appeared out of nowhere. He's 1-1. You know the talent's there, and he's been slowly figuring it out. And I believe it. I just think that team's going to hit a little drift at some point, and that's when they're going to really need him to be the man.
Yep. And you know why I like this game so much is because I basically do this in my head all the time with baseball cards. Am I buying or selling Spencer Torkelson being like this the rest of the way? Should I be going after Pete Crow Armstrong cards? And you know what I do when I need cards? I go to J&J Sports Cards on eBay. You can look at it on the screen right now. We have the store up. There are some great cards there, and a ton more are going to be going over there. There's a few things right now, but definitely check it out. If you're a sports card fan, you're going to like some of this stuff. Definitely go for it. And I'm still shocked that JD hasn't gotten into baseball cards yet. That's the one thing that I'm really surprised about.
Trying to figure it out what he's really into. He loves playing baseball, loves playing football. When I put baseball games on, he watches. But he doesn't want to. He doesn't go out of his way. I've only seen like twice. I've seen him like go and actually turn on the TV to put on a baseball game. I put on the Dodgers Diamondbacks game the other day, 2 nights ago. The awesome one where the Diamondbacks were losing, and then hit a home run in the 9th to tie it, and then hit the 2-run home run in the 10th, and then the Dodgers scored 3 in the 10th to win it. And like we were hanging on every single pitch. So when I put it on, he loves it. He's just not crazy in the cards. He does like Bengals, like some special Bengals cards. That's what he loves.
You know, I think I'm going to send JD, your wonderful son, my future client. I think I'm going to send him like a little care package of cards. He needs that. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. With all that being said, it's the time of the show that I've been waiting for most, and I've been waiting for this one particular team so we can argue it. We're going to do the Mount Rushmore for my New York Metropolitans. So on the graphic there was a guy with a mustache. I hope you didn't put Keith Hernandez on your list. I have no idea who's on your list. I don't remember. All I remember is when I saw it, I was a little disappointed. So who's number 1?
Well, you're disappointed because you're a Mets fan. Like, it's like you're disappointed because you're like, this is just like remembering. That's right. We're the Mets.
No, because there's some guys that I think that you left off the list. But let's
I
go
think
through
you're
it. Who's
wrong.
number one?
You're just straight up wrong. Let's just put it this way, because this is the best part about this, guys. Is this is his dream. He's thought about this his whole life, and he's wrong.
Which is the case most of the time. So, David, who's your number one on the Mount Rushmore?
My number one's easy. This is the easiest pick. One of the best pitchers in baseball history. He was the highest percentage in the Hall of Fame, right? Until Mariano.
No, until Griffey.
Until
Griffey's
Griffey, and
passed
then
on.
Mariano went perfect.
Well,
Seaver.
so on the top four is Mariano, Jeter, Griffey, and then Tom Seaver.
Well, it was Seaver though, and then Griffey, and then Mariano. Then so
I thought it was
didn't come
Jeter
in
and then
after
Mariano.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom
But
Seaver, very easy. Hall of Famer, 3-time Cy Young winner, Rookie of the Year, 69, the 69 Mets World Series champion, 12-time All-Star, 3-time ERA champion. When you're looking overall stats, he's got 311 wins, 205 losses.
the only
As
man with a statue outside of Citi Field.
What do you say?
The only man with a statue outside of Citi Field.
Yes, he was 10-time All-Stars in the first 11 seasons. He obviously got traded in 1977 to the Reds. But again, incredible baseball player, 198 wins as a Met. You're not going to find a better pitcher, probably Met history, unless like somebody sticks around and just pitches for longer. Like they'd have to be on his pace and just dominate forever, and then stick around for 15 years versus his 10. And so that's the only thing. Like he can be surpassed in Mets history. It's just that he didn't pitch his 20 some years as a Met. He pitched it as a Red, as a White Sox, as a Red Sox, and the Mets though he was a Hall of Famer with the Mets.
Yeah. Okay, who's your number two?
Number two, one of my teammates actually gave me a signed jersey, said he loved my stash and to thank him for hitting somebody for him. David Wright.
David Wright. I mean, the captain of the New York Mets, a guy that I personally don't think is as good as Mets fans make him out to be. Personally. Is he the face of the franchise over the last, 25 years? Yes, absolutely. Is he that generation's Derek Jeter? Absolutely. But personally, I'd rather have Pete Alonso. How about that?
I wouldn't disagree with you. I think he's a better fielder. I think he meant more to that franchise at the time than Alonso has yet. Captain America, like that's a thing, is he has surpassed what it meant to be a Met. He's even gone past that, played his entire career as a Met. Let's go through number 7-time All-Star, 2-time Gold Glover, 2-time Silver Slugger. Just like always, he was kind of always there at all the time. Like he was just the guy.
Here's what he is. Bottom line, he is the New York Mets version of Don Mattingly.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and I give you that. He just didn't. Yeah, yes, 100%. He's not a Hall of Famer. He won't be a Hall of Famer, but the dude had almost a 296 career average in that era, which is insane. 242 home runs, which I think probably Alonso's already passed.
Yeah, I'm
probably
not
very
sure
close.
My head. It's
probably
close,
very close. Almost 1,000 RBIs. He's not going to blow you away with some of his numbers, but his OPS plus is 133 for his career, 33% better than other players around him. Again, great player, probably the best. He is the best position player the Mets have ever had over a course of their career.
Who is your number three?
Number three, my number 3 and number 4 were both teammates. Just incredible. Hit the ground running, fizzled off later, but this guy fizzled off a little bit quicker. Dwight Gooden.
Well, that's what happens when you smoke crack, everybody. Yeah. You're one of the greatest pitchers to ever play, and then you smoke crack. So don't do drugs.
Yeah. It was one of my favorite line from Waterboy. That brings me to the next point. Don't smoke crack.
And that coming from Lawrence Taylor is just great in itself.
You know, I don't know if anybody's ever hit the scene running the way he did other than Paul Skenes.
Yep.
And again, I don't even know if Paul Skenes is able to do what he's doing. You know what he did? Rookie of the year. Okay, cool. And he was 17-9 though. Skenes wasn't. Led the everybody in strikeouts, fielding independent pitching, whip, hits per 9, strikeouts per 9, 11.4, which is insane. Rookie of the year, MVP number 15, Cy Young 2 his rookie year. Then his sophomore year, where he followed that up with a Cy Young and MVP 4, even better year, 24-4, 12.2 WAR, which is absolutely mind-blowing as a pitcher. And I mean, that's what Ohtani did with as a pitcher and hitter. This is what he did was absolutely crazy. The next year, Cy Young 7, the next year, Cy Young 5, a couple years later, a Cy Young 4. He ended up finishing out. He had a couple decent years as a Yankee, finishing out just kind of like whatever. Had missed a season in there. It just he hit the ground so incredible. Tim Lincecum style, like. Paul Skenes is the closest I've seen yet.
Yeah.
DeGrom is on that short list too, of like just hit that ground and just boom, full steam ahead and being able to back it up. To me, he's also that one of those guys like, what if?
Well, the difference between him and Paul Skenes, because they're very similar, is Gooden smoked the pipe and Paul Skenes gives Livy Dunn the pipe. That's it.
That's the line. That's it.
All right. Who's next? Who's your number 4?
My number 4 teammate through that basically that same time period. This was tough because we get to a little tough spot here. But to me, when you think Met, he's a dude. Like he's it. Like Darryl Strawberry.
Okay. Darryl Strawberry, another guy who had problems with drugs, another guy who should have never left the New York Mets. He should have never went to the Dodgers. He admits that now. Great player, but again, not a Hall of Famer, not ever going to get close to the Hall of Fame. Had a beautiful swing, a great player, but spent way too much time partying.
Yeah. Got in that Mets. I've heard some very, very fun stories about those Mets teams, that World Series champion team, and like some partying and crazy story, things I didn't think people would do on a baseball team, and that doesn't include drugs. Rookie of the year in '83, obviously Dwight Gooden won it in '84, so that's just like wow, you're set up for the rest of your as a franchise when that happens. Let's go through the All-Stars. 8-time All-Star, 3-time World Series champion. One of those, obviously, with the Mets. Look at a home run derby champion, 2-time Silver Slugger, Rookie of the Year. I mean, those weren't all at the Mets, but when you look at his Mets career, you're going Rookie of the Year, All-Star, 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 MVP 6, MVP 2, All-Star, MVP 3. And then he went to LA, MVP 9, and then it just kind of had some had that little decent comeback with the Yankees. Got into a good brawl when he was a Yankee, which is always fun to watch him come out of nowhere.
Which is amazing because somebody brought that up to me yesterday, which is just awesome.
Yeah, which is just great. At his peak, he was becoming one of the best players in baseball in that 88 year, 39 home runs, led Major League Baseball in slugging and OPS plus.
They thought he was going to be Griffey.
100%. He had the kind of a smooth swing too, a unique little smooth swing, good look, just kind of played the part, had the swagger and all that. Just partied too hard.
Okay, who's your guy that just missed?
And to me, this is where it gets a little hard. But to me, it's Jacob DeGrom.
Okay,
and what he was able to do in his very short time there. It's interesting. You brought up, and again, I say short time there. He was there, still decent a little amount.
Yeah.
You brought up a guy like Shohei Ohtani saying that he could be a Dodger or whatever, like just how great he was in a short period of time.
Yeah.
DeGrom was better. when versus Ohtani with the Angels. DeGrom was better with the Mets, and to me, what he was able to accomplish in that very short time there is just so insane. What was he? Back-to-back Cy Young awards in 18 and 19. They had, and he almost had in 2020. Could have very easily gotten it. Bauer got it, which is just BS. Because he only had a good first half. The only time he ever really pitched well in his entire career. As dominant as anybody's ever been in baseball. And when they went to the World Series, I mean, it's just insane what he was able to do in his time there. Just wasn't healthy. If he would have been healthier, he would have made this list as probably number 2 behind Tom Seaver.
Here's my problem with you. Dwight Gooden versus Jacob DeGrom. I take Jake. That's why I have a problem with your list, because they both won Rookie of the Year, but Jake has multiple Cy Youngs and was dominant, where he was the best pitcher in baseball longer than Dwight Gooden was.
4, 5, 6. So 82 wins. Let's look at this. 2 wins.
Forget about wins. I'm not going to look at the wins.
Oh, dude, it's not even close. Dwight Gooden blows him out of the water.
But for how long?
Blows him out of the water and wins as a Met versus.
Oh yeah, for wins, yeah, not even close, because
I just from a, and he was, Dwight Gooden was legitimately dominant for 4 years and 5 years as a Met. DeGrom was dominant for 5 years as a Met.
Jake almost won 3 Cy Youngs in a row. He won 2, and he almost won a third.
But the third, again, 12 games pitched. 12 games pitched.
Yeah.
He only used 4 and 2.
No, but right now, are you going to blame a pitcher in this day and age for not getting wins? So you're telling me that Skenes sucks because
the argument is that he's the most dominant? Yes. If you're dominant, you're getting the dub.
Okay.
But again, hey, dude, like I told you, if he was healthy just a little bit longer, he's number 2 behind Tom Seaver.
I know, but right now, I put Jake above Dwight Gooden. I have to.
I think if 2 guys walk into Citi Field and you ask everybody who's more of a Met, Jacob DeGrom or Dwight Gooden, I think it's Dwight Gooden.
Can't ask that right now, because
that's what Mount Rushmore is.
No, but you can't ask
more of when you think of Mets, who's the dude?
Okay, but if you ask that same question while Dwight Gooden was on the Yankees, you would get a different answer. Right now, Jacob DeGrom is on a different team. If you ask that question in 20 years, you'll get a better answer, is all I'm saying. Because
I think in 20 years, Jacob DeGrom is going to have just as many seasons off the Mets as he is with the Mets.
Okay. Well,
but again, like, it's a great argument. This is an awesome one. Yes. Rookie of the Year, Cy Young 7, Cy Young 8, Cy Young 1, Cy Young 1, Cy Young 3, Cy Young 9. Incredible. And you know what? His best season, most dominant season, at a 9.4 WAR. Dwight had a 12.4.
Okay. Well, that's a fair point. It's a fair argument.
But then I go, okay, but then to the flip side, this next best WAR he ever had as a Met was 5.5. Where DeGrom, and again, I know I get it, and I even have the argument with WAR and all that stuff, but it is an easy stat to just sit there and grab. And if you don't want to compare anything else, you can just grab this and go, okay, DeGrom was 3.1, 5.3, 9.4, 7.2, 4.5. Like, he's had better years from a WAR perspective.
That's what I'm saying. He was more dominant for longer, in my opinion, than Dwight. But yes, when you put the wins over there, it's very, very close. And the fact that Jacob DeGrom is not on that list is crazy to me, because I would put him over David Wright any day on the Mets Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, I don't think when you walk in there and people say at the end of their career, who's more of a Met? One, David Wright's the best position player the Mets have ever had. And then
hold on, because that's where my next argument with you is going to be.
Go.
Where in the hell is Mike Piazza on this list? The man who carried that team to a
team.
World Series. Huh?
One team. He carried one team.
Okay, dude, he was dominant, the best player in in Mets history at the time. 40 home run season, 100 RBIs, hitting 320, carrying them to a World Series. They couldn't get to a World Series with David Wright. And David Wright, by the way, also had Carlos Delgado and Carlos Beltran and John Olerud in that lineup, where Piazza had Edgardo Alfonso and Butch Husky.
I believe David Wright is more of a Met than Piazza. I think Piazza would be considered even more. He was at better years with the Dodgers.
Piazza's hat for the Hall of Fame is a New York Met hat.
Doesn't matter.
Of course it does.
No, it doesn't. That doesn't. Andre Dawson is wearing a freaking Expos hat.
There's a difference.
When you became a Hall of Famer with the Cubs.
You get to choose back then. When Mike Piazza was there, he didn't get to choose. That was the committee that decided.
Exactly. And that's exactly why he didn't get to choose. The Hall of Fame sat back and went and picked one. And I do not believe Mike Piazza did not become a Hall of Famer with the Mets. Mike Piazza was already Rookie of the Year, MVP 6, MVP 4, MVP 2, MVP 2, MVP 14, MVP 9. He was already there. They needed the boost. And hell, like the Mets, don't get me wrong, when he was a Met, he did the stats that got him past. But he would have done that anywhere. That's the thing about it. He had already established himself as a Hall of Famer. That's to me the argument of who he wears in the Hall of Fame. There's so much political stuff that goes behind it. The Mets needed another Hall of Famer. They needed it. The Dodgers didn't. And to me, there's times when they just pick a hat because they want to see the hat because they need teams. Like, hey, we're going to give you one. The Dodgers didn't need it, but the Mets did.
They gave Gary Carter the Expos hat. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, because they pump those. They pump them. And they pump the ones that they feel like they need.
Why are you constantly pumping?
It's the Hall of Fame's pumping.
It's a lot of pumping going on.
In a couple weeks.
And finally, the guy who's probably going to make the list and I think will overtake David Wright, Francisco Lindor.
Interesting. My argument.
Multiple.
Juan Soto for me.
Based on the first 50 games, I can't say that. But
first
based on
games, we would have said
I'm joking.
But Lindor's going to age out before he gets to that point. He's not going to be far away, and he might pass David Wright.
Multiple 30.
Soto's got so many years to do it that he's going to unless he gets traded, he's going to pass everybody.
Or he opts out after year 5. If you believe that he's not happy.
He could. I don't know if he's going to have the numbers and the financial backing to opt out.
I agree. And if he doesn't opt out, he gets $5 million more.
Right. And that's the thing is, I think Soto is just going to have so many years to do it. And Lindor, by the time the age and stuff, and because let's not forget, Lindor played in Cleveland for a little while.
Yeah. But what Lindor does on the field defensively and the multiple 30-30 seasons, I can very easily see Lindor being considered one of the best Mets of all time. That was a good contract.
I can see it. Absolutely. And again, after his however many games that first year, he hit 230. Yeah.
Well, everybody's sitting there talking about Juan Soto, but I said it before the season. You remember it? I said that's why I'm not picking the Mets to win the division at the end of the day, because it's going to take a little time. I don't know why when you go to become a Met, you get booed. You have problems in the beginning. Lindor, Piazza, Beltran didn't have a particularly great year. And these are great players, not good players. They're great players. Why it happens? It's probably because, if there is a God, he thinks that I'm his own personal blooper reel and wants to figure out a way to piss me off.
Mets, you got to hate them.
You got to believe that you're going to be miserable. All right. And with all that being said, excuse me, I was just about to end, but I just realized it. Even you, when you went to the Mets, you started off pretty good and then you crapped the bed because God wanted.
Crap the bed. I finished great.
Yeah, you finished great, but you started off great. But when I was there, you crapped the bed. I was there for a whole series.
It's you. Maybe you're the problem.
It's a very good possibility. Thank God I wasn't friends with Junior during his career.
Still have a Mets record. And I might always have a Mets record.
I've got a record too, but that's with the police department. Anyway, with that being said, I'm James. He's DA. Let us know who's right. Let us know who's wrong in the comments. Talk to you next time.